Welcome to archeryhaven.com.
Yeah.
Today we're going to do a deep dive into something that should be on every hunter's mind, especially if you're, a fan of tree stand hunting.
Yeah.
Hunting safety harnesses.
All right.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the hunt, but we can't forget about the serious stuff, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like anything else. You need the right tools for the job.
Yeah.
When it comes to tree stand hunting, a safety harness is non-negotiable.
Yeah. And, the stats back that up. I was reading that nearly 500 hunters are killed
Wow.
and another 6,000 injured each year
Yeah.
in tree stand accidents. That's a lot. More than firearm accidents, actually.
It is a startling number, and you're right, it's more than firearm accidents. What's fascinating here is that many hunters think a harness is just about preventing a fall, but it's so much more than that.
Okay, so let's unpack that.
Yeah.
What are we missing?
Think of it this way. A safety belt alone can lead to you passing out quickly in a fall. But a full body harness, that distributes the force and gives you precious time to either self-rescue or get help. It's like that extra layer of security that could make all the difference.
So it's not just about, staying in the stand.
Right.
It's about what happens if you fall.
Right.
That changes things.
Exactly. Now, when you're looking at harnesses, there are a few key things to keep in mind. First, weight limits. This seems obvious, but it's crucial. Your harness needs to support your gear and your clothing, especially in the winter when we're all bundled up.
Right, like those extra layers for warmth can really add up.
And then there's the expiration date. Harnesses aren't buy-it-for-life items. The materials wear down over time.
So it's kind of like any safety equipment you need to make sure it's still in good shape.
Right.
What about the different types of harnesses? There seem to be a lot of options out there.
You've got your simple single-strap designs, good for quick hunts, but not as secure. Then you have 5-point systems, much more secure with chest and leg straps for better support. And of course, the vest-style harnesses, super comfy and easy to wear, often with pockets for your gear.
Okay, so there's something for everyone depending on their needs.
Exactly. And when it comes to brands, Multidynamics is a great one to check out. They make harnesses that are both lightweight and tough enough for those long hunting days. But regardless of the brand, the most important thing is the fit.
Fit, like how snug it is.
Exactly. You want it snug, but not too tight. Make sure the belt sits comfortably around your waist. Leg straps are secure, and the shoulder and chest straps are tightened. It should feel secure, but not restrict your movement. If you hunt year-round and wear different layers, adjustable harnesses are your best friend.
Adjustable harnesses, got it. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So let's say I've got my measurements and I'm ready to shop. Any brands you'd steer me towards?
For those on a budget, the Hunter Safety System X1 or the Muddy the Crossover Combo Harness are both great. If you're looking for top tier, the Hunter Safety System Pro Series or the Multidynamics Hunters Elite are packed with features and built to last.
Okay, so we've got options. But how do I choose from so many? It can be overwhelming.
Do your research, read reviews, compare features, and see what other hunters are saying. But at the end of the day, choose a harness that fits your specific needs and budget. After all, we're talking about your safety here.
No cutting corners on safety, for sure. So let's say we found the perfect harness, got the right fit. Now we need to install it.
Oh.
I've got to admit, this part always makes me a little nervous.
I hear you, but proper installation is crucial. We're literally talking about life or death here. It all starts with a pre-installation check. Make sure everything is in good working order. Choose a strong, healthy tree. No dead trees. And of course, the manufacturer's instructions are your best friend here. Follow them to the letter. It's like building a house. You wouldn't skip steps or use shoddy materials, right? Same goes for installing your harness. Your life depends on it.
No cutting corners.
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yep.
But let's say everything's installed perfectly. We're ready to climb up.
Right.
What happens if, despite all our precautions, we do fall?
First things first, stay calm. Panic can lead to bad decisions. If you can try to self-rescue.
Yeah.
Most good harnesses have suspension relief straps that let you stand up, taking pressure off your legs. Aim to get back into the stand or find a solid branch.
Okay, so self-rescue if possible. But what if that's not an option?
That's when you signal for help. Your whistle cell phone, that personal locator beacon we talked about, they're lifesavers in these situations. Make sure someone knows where you are and that you need help.
So having a plan and practicing those emergency procedures is key.
Exactly. And never hesitate to call for help. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked. The mental game of safety.
Mental game. You mean like staying focused and aware?
Precisely. It's easy to get complacent when you've been hunting from a stand for years. We start thinking, it won't happen to me. But those trees stand accident statistics. They tell a different story.
Yeah. It's like that saying, familiarity breeds contempt. We get too comfortable and forget about the risks.
That's a great way to put it. So how do we combat this? By recognizing it exists, we need to stay focused on safety even when we're feeling confident. It's like treating every hunt as if it's your first time in a stand.
Always be a student, never the master. I like that. Any other tips for staying mentally sharp when it comes to safety?
A pre-hunt routine can be incredibly helpful. Before every hunt, take a few minutes to inspect your equipment, double-check your harness and tether, and review your emergency plan. It's like a mental checklist that reinforces those safety habits.
Okay, routine is key. Now, this might be a bit controversial, but what about alcohol and hunting? Some folks enjoy a drink while in the stand, but is that mixing a good time with a bad idea?
You know, as relaxing as that might sound, it's not recommended. Alcohol impairs judgment and slows reaction time. It's a recipe for disaster when you're dealing with heights and potentially dangerous equipment.
So celebrate after the hunt, not during. Makes sense. Now let's talk about something that can be tricky, especially for new hunters. Choosing the right tree. What should we be looking for?
First and foremost, a healthy living tree. No dead or damaged ones. You need something sturdy that can support your weight and your stand. Pay attention to the diameter and make sure it's thick enough.
So no skinny trees. What about the branches?
Good point. You need clear shooting lanes, but also want to make sure there are no branches that could interfere with your harness or tether if you were to fall. Location is key too. Think about visibility, accessibility, and wind direction for scent control.
Wow, there's a lot more to choosing a tree than I initially thought. It's like picking the right real estate for your stand.
Exactly. Now let's tackle a topic that sometimes sparks debate: lifelines. Some hunters love them, others aren't so keen. What's your take?
I'm all ears. Lay it on me.
Personally, I'm a big advocate for lifelines. They provide that constant connection to the tree from the moment you leave the ground until you climb back down. It significantly reduces the risk of a serious fall.
So even with a harness, a lifeline adds an extra layer of protection.
Absolutely. Think of it like this. Your harness is only as good as its connection point. A lifeline ensures you're always connected even if you slip while climbing.
That makes sense.
Huh.
But I've heard some hunters complain about lifelines getting in the way or being a tripping hazard.
There is a bit of a learning curve for sure, but with practice you can use them safely and effectively. The added safety benefit far outweighs any minor inconvenience.
Safety over convenience, especially when we're talking about heights. Okay, shifting gears here, let's talk about preseason practice. I know some hunters might roll their eyes at this, but why is it so important?
It's one thing to read the manual or watch a video, but it's another thing entirely to put on your harness, climb a tree, and actually practice using your lifeline in a safe environment.
So it's about getting familiar with the equipment before the pressure's on.
Exactly. Preseason practice helps you build confidence, identify any issues, and practice those emergency procedures we talked about. It's like a dress rehearsal for the real deal.
Great point. Practice makes perfect, or at least more prepared. Now, for our bow hunters out there, what about shooting from an elevated position? Any tips for staying accurate and safe?
Stability is key. Make sure your stand is level and secure. Any movement can throw off your shot. And remember, shooting from above changes the trajectory of your arrow. So adjust your aim accordingly. Practice, practice, practice. The more you shoot from your stand, the more comfortable you'll become.
Okay, stability and practice. Got it. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on something important to me. Leaving no trace. I know we're talking about safety, but being responsible stewards of the land is also crucial.
Absolutely. Ethical hunting goes beyond just harvesting an animal. It's about respecting the environment, packing out everything you pack in, minimizing noise, and leaving the woods as you found them.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to emphasize the importance of continuous learning.
You mean staying up to date on safety standards, new gear, and best practices?
Exactly. The world of hunting safety is always evolving. New research, new technologies, new insights. We need to be proactive and stay informed.
I couldn't agree more. Don't rely on what you learned years ago. Make an effort to stay current. Read articles, attend workshops, talk to experienced hunters. Knowledge is power when it comes to safety.
Excellent advice. We've covered a lot of ground in this part. Emergency procedures, the mental aspects of safety, choosing the right tree lifelines, preseason practice, shooting tips, leaving no trace, and the importance of continuous learning. It's a lot to digest, but I think the main takeaway is that safety is a journey, not a destination.
You nailed it. It's an ongoing commitment to learning, practicing, and always striving to be better, safer hunters.
Welcome back to our deep dive on hunting safety harnesses.
It's been a lot of information, hasn't it?
It has. We've talked about everything from, choosing the right harness to staying mentally sharp on the hunt. So for our listeners out there who are, wanting to take their safety to the next level, what are some key takeaways that we can, leave them with today?
Well, I think first and foremost is investing in a high-quality full-body harness.
Okay.
One that fits properly, one that meets your specific needs.
Right. And like we talked about before, a harness is only as good as its installation.
Exactly.
So making sure we're following those instructions
Yeah.
provided by the manufacturer is
Yes.
super important.
Can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah. And, those lifelines we were talking about,
Oh, yeah.
they might seem like a hassle at
Okay.
first, but that continuous connection from the time you leave the ground to the time you get back down,
Yeah.
that could be a real game changer.
Absolutely.
But, all the gear in the world doesn't matter if we're not mentally prepared.
Right.
So how can we, avoid complacency and really stay sharp when it comes to safety?
Well, I think recognizing that complacency is a very dangerous trap for us. We need to stay focused on safety even when we're feeling confident.
So even if you've been, in a tree stand for years and years,
Right.
treating every hunt like it's your first time.
Absolutely. Maintaining that beginner's mindset is a real key to success here.
Yeah. And remember, knowledge is power.
It is.
Stay up to date on the latest, safety standards and best practices. Don't be afraid to ask questions or reach out to more experienced hunters.
Right. The hunting community is full of folks who are willing to help keep you safe.
Absolutely.
Right.
So for our listeners who are, maybe wanting to learn more about safety, where are some good resources they can check out?
Well, online, the Tree Stand Manufacturers Association, known as the TMA, and then also the National Bowhunter Education Foundation, or the NBEF.
Okay.
They've got tons of great safety tips and guidelines and educational materials.
Awesome. And of course, for, information on harnesses and other gear, they can always visit archeryhaven.com.
That's right. We're dedicated to providing hunters with the knowledge and resources they need to stay safe.
Excellent. So as we wrap up this deep dive on hunting safety harnesses, remember, safety is a journey, not a destination.
That's right.
It's something that we need to be, constantly working on and thinking about.
All the time.
And ultimately, our goal is to, ensure that everyone comes home safe and sound.
That's right.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into hunting safety harnesses. Until next time, happy hunting.
Stay safe out there.
For more information on hunting safety, visit archeryhaven.com.